Hi everyone. We are over 500 miles into the trail, and I figured I'd take some time to do some FAQs and fun facts and thoughts about the trail so far. This video is probably going to be a bit disjointed, so editing might be all over the place. And
I've just been sticking with my PCT name, which is Gourmet. I got that because I had dehydrated a bunch of food for that trip, and it was delicious. And I also tended to resupply better than the other folks around. And I can be a little bougie in town.
My gear. I've been pretty happy with most of my gear. I did buy running shorts and spur of the moment, the pink tank top that I've been wearing during that heat wave. It was just so miserable in this t-shirt that is a little thicker and never dries, where the tank top actually does dry, and so does the running shorts compared to the spandex. The spandex were also getting little tears in them from me scooting off of rocks in Maine and New Hampshire. So yeah, so replacements: shorts, a tank top. I've decided to keep the t-shirt in my backpack, especially the past few days of rain. It's been really nice to get into camp and have a dry shirt to put on, because it's also been cold when it's wet, and I've been relying on my long sleeve thermal a lot, and that has been getting wet as well. So before bed, changing into a dry shirt, my dry thermal pants, and being dry for bed has been important. So I think normally I wouldn't pack a second shirt, a second top layer, but we're going with it. Shoes, I started with a pair of Ultra Superiors, the 5s. That already had a couple hundred miles on them. So when I got to Gorham, New Hampshire, which is about the 300 mile mark, I replaced them with a pair of Lone Peak 4s. I had bought a ton of shoes a couple years ago. I knew the style that I liked, and when they went on sale, I hoarded. But this is my last pair of Lone Peak 4s, which makes me so sad because I'm sure I've commented on here before, the 5s have been narrower, which I learned that Ultra did sell to another company. So it makes sense that they're now trying to make the shoes more uniform for mass production instead of the people that love Ultras for their wide toe box. Thoughts, feels. Anyways, so I am still wearing the Lone Peak 4s. They're looking rough these days. We're about halfway through their lifespan, so I will be shipping a box with the new shoes in a couple hundred miles, sometime before Pennsylvania, before all of the rocks. So little things. So I got rid of the anti-chafing stick very early on. I ditched that back at Shaw's in Munson. So the very first town stop out of the 100-mile wilderness, I hadn't experienced any chafing, so I chucked that. I also got rid of my sunblock. I wasn't using it, and yeah, it wasn't really until I summited Mount Washington that I really could have used it, but that was a couple hundred miles later after I had already ditched that. Everything else has been pretty much the same. I am thinking about getting rid of my bug spray. I haven't used it in about a month. I'm also thinking of shipping home my head net, the spandex shorts that I've been carrying around with me for no reason. I'm also debating on sending home this tripod that the phone is now attached to, just because this is the first time that I'm using it, and it's just been weight in my pack for not much value. So yeah, I'll probably ship those 3 things home. Sorry, there's a mess behind me if you can't see it, of my bag exploding everywhere. I'll probably get rid of some small things that I really don't need. Things in my first aid kit, like I'm not going to use a Band-Aid at this point. Blood's just going to gush out of my leg. That's just how it's going to be. So I should get rid of stuff like that. My body's been holding up pretty fantastically. I am a little surprised. I mean, I am pretty fit. I am pretty active. But yeah, the PCT, I was hurting so much all the time, and I dropped a ton of weight really fast, and continued to drop weight throughout that trail. And that's not been the case on the AT. I've maintained weight, which is huge. That's such an accomplishment on a through hike to maintain weight. Things have shifted around. I've gained muscle and lost fat in different places, and things have moved, but pretty much the same weight that I started at. I'm able to eat a little healthier on this trail. The town stops have more fresh produce, and there's just healthier options available, unlike the PCT. So that's been, I think, really helping. My feet have been great. No blisters, nothing too crazy. I do have a lot of callus right now, which is kind of debating on going and getting a pedicure and just taking care of the feet. Recently, I've started to feel tingling in my toes. I'm hoping that they don't go numb, but they might. They did pretty early on. I want to say like week 3 of the PCT, my toes went numb and I didn't feel them the entire trail. But I've pretty much felt them until the past week. It's just recently that they've started tingling a little bit. So ankles and knees also recently started getting a little stiffer. Nothing too concerning though. I don't feel like I have the full-on hiker hobble. Like I feel like I'm doing pretty well. What else is going on? I've had, this was a previous thing that I've had for years before this, but off and on, I'll have a little like hip pain thing. And that's just from years of yoga and running and hiking and backpacking, and it comes and goes. So I've felt that on occasion, but again, that's something that I've been dealing with for a couple years, so just is what it is. Other than that, yeah, I've been feeling pretty physically fantastic on this trail, which again is great. Like I don't even know. I'm doing physically better than what I thought I was going to be. Mentally, I am pretty happy. I know I'm in the green tunnel section now, so not as many views, but that's okay. Like I'm here to walk and think and get bored, which is very important for creativity and just thinking through things and letting your brain wander around in its own spiral and remembering random memories or random songs. And just letting my brain relax. It's important to do that and get away from our phones and computer screens and get out in nature. Which kind of brings up another topic. So I saw someone mention something about comments and, commenting back on videos, which I do try to do when I'm in town. But when I'm out in the woods, I keep my phone on airplane mode. I do not edit videos when I am on trail. Like I am on trail to be out in the forest. So I only edit videos when I am in town and on Wi-Fi. I don't want to be in the forest on my phone all the time. It's not why I'm out here. I do record my vlog stuff when I am alone, and that's mostly out of respect for other hikers. I am also out here to enjoy my time in nature, and I do not want to ruin that time for someone else by me throwing my phone about recording people. So yeah, there are a lot of like one-on-one conversations, when you're hiking with someone or taking a break or just like magical trail happenings. But I am not here to record all of those and post them on the internet. I want to live in the moment and enjoy those moments as well. And so I'm not going to whip out my phone and suddenly start recording people. It feels gross to me to do that. And I'm not going to like share somebody else's story just because I find it interesting and think it would be a good video. Like that's not why I'm doing these vlogs. And it's definitely not why I'm out here. So I'm purposefully not recording a ton of people and adding them to this vlog, to this channel. There might be some moments, like I took pictures at the birthday party. Soups and Shira were fine with me taking a picture of them. And I have pictures of other folks that I'm not posting, just because I didn't ask them and I don't want to post something if they don't want it. So that's that. Do I hike with people? Occasionally, yes, I do hike with people. Most of the time, not. I am pretty solo hiking, but most people are on the AT. Like you will hike alone, and then when you get to water sources, shelters, camping sites, towns, things like that, usually people will congregate there and take breaks together, camp together. But throughout the day, most folks just hike alone. So yeah, but it's not too lonely. Like I've said in some of my videos, I am seeing tons of northbound hikers, which does not include the long trail hikers or day hikers or folks just out for the weekend. Like there are so many people out on trail all the time. It is wild. Midday meltdown on day 32. Not a through hiker, but when I was in town, there was a member of the community who said some things to me that were slightly inappropriate, and made me uncomfortable. Overall, easy to deal with. I brushed it off, whatever. But throughout that day, it got me thinking of all of the other harassment and bullshit that I have put up with from men my entire life. And then that led me to the spiral of like all the trauma and everything that my friends have had to deal with, and just women in the whole world have had to deal with. And I just went on a man-hating rampage. So I cut that video short because I did not want to put that much anger out into the universe. Yeah, I just didn't need to share that venting with you all, but that's what happened. Realistically, rationally, I know so many kind, respectful men who think with their brains. A lot of people have asked about dates of my hike and mileage. I have mixed feelings on both of these, so I just have not. Occasionally in my videos, I'll share the mileage that I'm doing that day or miles to town. I might even say the date, especially if it's like day 30, Mileage, I'm generally not posting it. because I don't care. I don't think it's that relevant. If people are looking into a through hike, they can see what kind of mileage I'm doing with Far Out, with whatever trail guide that they're using. They can easily figure that out. I'm not posting it because I don't think it's that important to the story. Like, I'm not here to be the fastest or the slowest or to brag about what I'm doing. I'm just hiking. And if I do 5 miles one day, great. And if I do 30 miles one day, great. Like, I don't care. And I don't think that should be so promoted all the time. And I don't want to give like data that a future through hiker would set their expectations on, like, oh, she did 320s in a row, so I must be able to do that or I'm a failure. Like, I don't want to influence that. Like, people should hike their own hike, however slow or fast or disjointed, however long it takes. Like, hike your hike, not mine, yours. With that, dates. I will go and backdate the descriptions of the videos. I mainly am not doing that just because I don't like the idea of folks tracking me on trail. I've heard stories through the trail of people like being sought after. And I don't want people to be wandering out into the woods to find me. So I've been very hesitant with publishing dates all the time. And that's it for now. Thanks everyone for the continued support on my journey, and continue asking questions. I may not always respond in the comments, but I will try to keep note of them for a future FAQ. And yeah, see you in tomorrow's post.